Hello, my name is Allison Gordon Wright, and I'm one of the attorneys here at Villafranca Law. Today, I want to talk with you about options for residency for individuals with DACA. So, if you're someone in the United States with DACA, you probably know that DACA unfortunately does not put you on the path to residency or the path to citizenship, right? If you have DACA, you know you have to renew it every 2 years, and it gives you protection from removal, from deportation, and a work permit. So it's a good thing. We're thankful for DACA, but DACA on its own, like I said, does not get you a green card, right? But we at Villafranca Law have a lot of DACA clients who we can help get their residency, right? We can help them obtain a green card and get on that path to citizenship. So if you're a person with DACA and are interested in, what are the options, right? Today we just want to give you a high-level overview about what those options are. So in U.S. immigration law, there are, two major kind of categories that people can immigrate to the United States. It can kind of be odd using that language for folks with DACA because you're already in the United States, but that's the family-based immigration and employment-based immigration. So probably the most common thing we see is DACA recipients applying for their green card through a family member. Now, there's different family members that can apply for you, not just any family member. We see that lots of DACA recipients marry U.S. citizen spouses, and that's a really I don't want to say easy because it's not always easy, right? But it can be a really good path for DACA recipients. So if you are a DACA recipient who's married to a U.S. citizen, this is a really good option for you. There's also other options for family members, right? So if you are the parent, you're a person with DACA, and you have a child who's now over 21, they can actually petition for you. Or if you are the child of a U.S. citizen under 21, all of those categories make you an immediate relative, which means that you have some special treatment or some benefits in U.S. immigration law. Those aren't the only family members that can petition for you, though. If your spouse is a lawful permanent resident, if you are the child of a U.S. citizen who's over 21, if you are a spouse or a child of a lawful permanent resident, if you are a married son or daughter of a U.S. citizen, or if you are the brother or a sister of a U.S. citizen, 21 and over, all of those categories also mean that you might be able to, get your residency through that family member. I say might because the sibling category, for instance, has insanely long wait times, right? There are backlogs in all of these, many of these categories that mean you might have to wait such a long time to get your residency that it's not really a good option. But again, this is why we would, encourage you to schedule a consultation so that we can really evaluate all of the options that might make sense for you. Family-based green cards, residency, and then employment-based green cards. So if you are working in a job and you feel like you have a good relationship with your employer, they might be willing to sponsor your residency, right? To go through the labor certification process and to sponsor your residency. So I definitely think that's worth considering. Sometimes folks don't because they're like, oh, I have my work permit, but sponsoring your green card is giving you more than a work permit. You're getting residency in the United States, which puts you on that path to citizenship. And then there's a self-sponsor option, which I want to talk some about today because we just had an approval for a DACA recipient who said, you know what, I'm not married to a U.S. citizen. I have a job, but I'm not sure my employer is willing to sponsor. But I really think my work is interesting, and I really think I'm actually helping, benefit the country with the work I'm doing. And so I would like to, talk about doing a self-sponsored petition. And we got her national interest waiver, which I'll get into, petition approved. So again, we talked about the employer can sponsor you, but you can also sponsor yourself if you are a person with an advanced degree or an advanced degree equivalent, and you can demonstrate that your work is in the national interest of the United States. So there's a lot of different ways to do this, right? It's not just the rocket scientists that can show that their work is in the national interest of the country. So if this is something that's interesting to you, please schedule a consultation with us. These kinds of cases are not super prescriptive. We can really be creative in our legal arguments, right? That's our job as attorneys to show that hey, your work in the United States and your proposed work, this idea you have to do this work in the United States is really going to benefit the country as a whole. And so like I said, this is a really good option that's often overlooked, especially for DACA recipients. Then the last bucket I just want to mention is, most people, I would say, obtain the residency through a family member or through an employer or through that self-sponsor. So there's also this third bucket of humanitarian-based green cards. So I just want to mention those at a high level. So if you're someone who's been the victim of a crime or the victim of trafficking, if you are married to someone who's a lawful permanent resident or citizen, and that relationship, there's been abuse or cruelty. And these are all other ways to potentially obtain your residency. So I would definitely encourage you to seek out an immigration attorney if you think that one of those might apply to you. So we talked about all of these things, but again, we encourage you to schedule a consultation so that we can really evaluate what the best option is for you. There are some things that really matter that we would want to talk to you about depending on the specifics of your case. How old were you when you got DACA? If you were first received your initial grant of DACA, deferred action, over the age of 18, that might complicate your case and it might change some things. If you had a prior removal order, that might also change some things and make the case more complicated. Again, it's not something that means you have no chance if you had an old deportation order from when you were a young child. But those are the kinds of things we'll want to know so that we can best advise you. One other thing to mention is that the state of DACA is always changing, right? So as of now, if you're a person with DACA, you can continue to renew. Unfortunately, no initial DACA applications are being decided right now, but renewal applications are being decided by the government as of the time that this video is being recorded. But please stay up to date on the state of DACA so that you know what's going on, when's best to renew your work permit, things like that. So if you're interested, go ahead and schedule a consultation with me or with Kaylani so that we can talk with you about your options for applying for residency. We'd love to chat with you. Thanks so much.